Well, welcome to the Building the Future podcast. We're here to help young people succeed by exploring real careers, real stories, and real lessons from leaders shaping our communities.
Today we're joined by Josh Stover, owner of Stover's Motors out of Boone, Iowa. Today he will share his journey, the lessons he's learned, and the insights into what it takes to build a successful career and company. Thank you for joining us today, Josh. Let's go ahead and dive in. So what first got you interested in being a mechanic? How did you get started in all this?
Man, it was basically growing up as a kid. We lived out in the country, didn't have access to a lot of stores, and internet wasn't as prevalent as it is today. So basically, if you wanted to have something, you had to learn how to fix the thing. And I've just always had a passion for tearing things apart, figuring out how things work. And as I've got older, I think the problems got worse with my interest in like really digging in and figuring out how things are. And that's how I started out. It was either music or mechanics for me. I explored the music option for a long time. Played jazz saxophone, did that through college. Met my now wife, and kind of figured out, or kind of assumed that she didn't want to live in a van with me while I was trying to be a jazz saxophone musician. You know what I'm saying? So ended up going to motorcycle school in Dallas, Texas. Graduated top of my class there. I brag about that, but there's like 12 students. But wait, you know what? It happened. Did that. Day after I graduated, I had a job lined up at a dealership, and did that for about 6 or 7 years. Got out of the industry for a little while, and then now I run my own shop a few years later.
What's motorcycle school?
So, motorcycle school, what is
a specific brand?
Yeah, so it's the school that I went to. It was actually within a community college, which was great because I was able to get a scholarship for it. So full ride, we'll call it, make it sound better than it is. But just went to a community college there. They taught all basically small engine stuff, and then we worked on a bunch of different power sports equipment for motorcycles and boats and jet skis, and four-wheelers and all that. And then it gave me basically a certificate that said I went through it. And then once you have that, dealerships will take you on where you can go in, and then you can do like on-the-job training. And then I got certified in Kawasaki and Suzuki through their factory training programs. And then, kind of went from there.
Okay, yeah, and that's exactly what I was going to ask.
Yep.
So it wasn't like at this class or at this school you learn these Kawasaki engines need this sort of backlash. It's that all motorcycles or small engines.
Yep.
Here's how you take a head off. Here's how you disassemble. They all have the same basic
principles.
Right.
Yep.
Okay, so then at the dealership, we know you can do all this stuff.
Yep.
Then they sent you to was it like a continuing education thing, or was it you're going for like a month?
So they had kind of the first couple levels of it they had like, back when I was in the industry at the dealership level there, they had like I think Kawasaki and Suzuki had them both, where it was like bronze, silver, gold, that kind of a tier.
Okay.
And the first two levels were like online, and you had to have so many hours worked at an accredited shop or a real dealership.
Okay.
And then for the third level, they would send you in, and you would go actually do some on-the-job training.
So you had to be sponsored by a dealership.
Yeah.
You had to have so many hours that you could.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and I'm not sure how they're doing it today, but that is one of the ways. In some other schools, like is it MIT? Yeah, Motorcycle Institute of Technology. Some of those companies or some of those schools do have.
Is it seriously called that?
Yeah,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm pretty sure I'm saying that right.
No, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Even if not, I think if it's not, grab that one. We're going to do that.
Well, I was going to say, I think Missouri has a school like that too. That's like Missouri Institute of Technology, and it's MIT. And
So now you may not know. Do you know? Was the class sponsored by Kawasaki, or was it sponsored by who paid for you to go through the?
Because I worked for the dealership, that was kind of it was one of the things that we had access to, and you didn't have to do it. I just wanted to get all of the all the certificates that I can.
Oh, absolutely.
If I'm already there doing it, then it just hangs on the wall at the shop now. But I can at least point to it and be like, hey, like
you do know what you're talking about.
yeah.
Right.
Yep. So did that. And like I said, some of those schools, they do have like factory Harley training that you can do. Those schools are quite a bit more expensive. Like I said, the program that I went to worked out great. I was able to do 2 years of work within like 8 months because I was there. I did the morning and night classes. I did it over summer.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I loved
awesome.
it, so it was fun, and then I worked in between classes and in the morning and stuff like that.
On the online stuff, or are you talking about you would actually go to the class?
I would go to during school, I would go to the actual school, and then morning and night, and then, yep.
So then you were at school for how many hours in the morning and the night, and then working in between?
I was working a part-time job. Well, I had 3 part-time jobs during that time, but mainly just 2 different jobs. But yeah, I was probably going to school, I don't know, 8 to 10 hours a day. And then, working in the mornings or at night or on the weekends, just kind of where I could and where I couldn't.
We're starting to see a trend here with everybody we talk to.
Yep.
Nobody just got there by doing, oh, I just went to school and did that, and then I went
Dude,
to work
we'd work until 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep. I still do.
because the Voc Tech School or the community college, it's, I guess I'm not well versed in a 4-year school, but you hear a lot of gaps in your schedule, right? In the school I went to, it sounds like the same. You start at 8 o'clock and you go until 3 or 4. I mean,
Yep.
you're there, you get a lunch break and you're there all day.
Yep.
So yeah, and then after school we'd go home, grab a bite, and head to work until dark. Go home, go to bed.
Yep.
Do it again.
Good.
Yeah.
Explains why there's people in the trades are getting ahead, is they're going and doing that stuff.
So that the motorcycle shop you worked at now, are you from Texas?
I'm from here.
Okay.
And I went down there to pursue the music because they had some really good music colleges. So I went there. I really enjoyed it. When I got to the school for music, I backed off on all the regular classes because wasn't looking for a degree. I just wanted to get trained in the things that I wanted to get trained in. Mm-hmm. So
Okay.
same thing. I went overboard. I was like 22 to 24 hours of credits per year or semester a year. Double what full time is. Just all music. So I did that, loved it, and then, like I said, when I made the decision to go back and do mechanics, then did the same thing with mechanics.
So how old were you when you did that?
I completed motorcycle school when I was 21. So I'd gone to school for 3 or 4 years, with the 3 years with the music stuff, and then the 1 year with the motorcycle stuff.
So you're down in Texas, you're taking music school.
Yep.
And then you're like, you know what? That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure.
And then just
Yep.
decided we're gonna do a little. It was the original idea. This is going on pause, and we're gonna pick this up, or was it just we're shifting?
Yep, I'm kind of all or nothing, whether that's good or bad. But yeah, once I made up my mind that I'm gonna go be a motorcycle mechanic, I went and knocked on every dealership door in the area, tried to get a job without going to school, and it's mainly a liability thing where they don't want to bring in inexperienced people. Not that I didn't have a good idea of what I was doing at that point, but sorry, I lost my thought here.
Well, no, but so yeah, they want somebody. I can't just tell you I know how to. Oh yeah, I fix bikes all the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you now? Oh yeah, yeah. See,
you run
it's
into
you mean
that
that one you rode in on? Oh, that's a bicycle. Yeah. No.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, so as soon as I got 15 no's at all the different shops, and I was like, all right, I'll go to school. So
And they're all asking the same thing. Where'd you go to school?
yeah,
What
where'd
did
you
you
go to school? Or if you've already got, if you had your foot in the door, on the job training somewhere else, like if you had dealership experience at that level as a mechanic, they would take you on because
Sure.
they're comfortable with you. But, liability fixing there's always liability with every job that you do or any kind of business, but you don't want people wrecking bikes. Mm-hmm. So that was definitely the hard part, getting in the door there. But yeah, went to the dealership, found one that I really liked the people that I talked to there. They're actually the ones who pointed me to the school because not a lot of people knew about this school in Dallas. And I signed up immediately after that, straight went to it. And as soon as I graduated, my teacher, he called the guy, and the guy that recommended me, they're actually good friends. And he was like, hey, I got a kid for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And literally day after I graduated, I was working.
Outstanding.
Yeah. That's awesome.
How'd you find out about the scholarship?
Asking.
Yeah.
Yep. And I knew from the music side of things where I was doing, because I had basically a full ride there as well. Again, it's community college, so full ride's not too hard to achieve with in-state
I
tuition.
didn't get any full ride scholarship.
Yeah. So I just always asked about it, and and ended up getting some help with that, and just applied for it through the school. And going in and showing what you can do and being personable always helps. Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
Learn how to talk to people and
All the soft skills
yes,
gets you
Oh,
a
yeah.
long ways.
Same stuff that we're preaching to
Yep.
our students, just the things that you don't see in people every day now, the things that we would think was common, especially us, but even more so between you guys because you grew up talking to people, doing things, whatever. You guys didn't hide behind screens. You said it yourself when you were a kid. if you wanted to do things, if you wanted to have things like to do for fun, you tore it apart, you fixed it,
Yep.
and that's how you did something.
Yep.
You didn't have an iPad, a PlayStation, whatever. That's just not what you did.
Nope. We had some go-karts, and Dad would come home and be all mad at me because I'd have that engine tore all the way apart. It wasn't broken. I was just,
Oh,
like
Yeah.
summertime, you're out in the country, man. It's like,
Need something to do.
did that a lot.
Tired of riding it, so you just see what's on the inside of it.
Yep. Go through it, put it back together, see if it run. It usually did. If it didn't, that's when you learn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Still happens today.
So then to fill in some gaps here, we know you have been running your own shop for almost 3 years now.
Yep.
When you finished up with school down in Texas, you started working, and then at some point you came back here.
Yep.
We're doing some other things. So what happened in that in-between time?
I guess I got kind of frustrated working at the dealership level. Dealerships are very retail oriented, right? You got to have the customers. So like no Saturdays off, no vacations during the summer, maxed out with 2 weeks of vacation, and that was it. It didn't matter if I worked there for 2 years or 30 years. So kind of looking at that now that I have a wife and all that, just wasn't what I was looking for long term. I loved what I did. I enjoyed all the stuff. I loved the opportunities. But if your professional life and your personal life just don't match together, like you're miserable. And I didn't want to be miserable with doing something I love. So it kind of burned me out. So I got out of it. We moved back to Iowa. My wife wanted to finish up nursing school. So by coming back here, we're able to afford to do that versus living in Dallas where it's much more expensive. Come back here and just started trying some different jobs. I was a technician at every job that I've had since I was back here, whether it was working on, I tried automotive stuff for a while, did not like it. Worked in warehouses on like logistic equipment, like automated machines and cranes and forklifts and, all the stuff that you work on in the warehouse. Did that for a couple of years. That was all right. And then started doing the little, I mentioned to you guys earlier, wanted to make my own business, wanted to try it out. Started doing that. And then once that started taking off, I was able to quit one of my full-time jobs, do one of my previous businesses. And when that didn't work out, went and got another job as another technician, at another place. And anyway, then started doing this on the side, working on stuff out of the garage because the itch never goes away for me. Like I get home, I relax for a couple hours even now, chill out. And then my mind's immediately back to like, what else can we fix? So I'll go around the house, look at all the equipment we have. Like, it doesn't matter. Like it just doesn't shut off. But anyway, working on stuff out of the garage, and word got out that I was starting to work on stuff again. And I don't know, it took probably
Like what kind of stuff were you working on the garage?
I was working on a couple of motorcycles. I still had a lift. I had bought a motorcycle lift. It came with me back to Iowa from Texas. It sat in a garage for a while. I haven't used it, in a long time. And took on a couple of jobs. I heard, friends at the places I was working at, hey, I need something worked on. And guys like, hey, you want to work on a boat motor? I was like, sure, did some small stuff. And I don't know, it took probably 2 months. And it started getting bigger and bigger. And my wife was like, you need to go find a shop because you can't have all this stuff at the house.
Oh, yeah.
You buy a golf course.
Yeah, it's
not
almost
like-
wintertime, and I don't have a spot in the garage anymore.
Yeah. So that led to me getting into a shop or into the building that I'm in now. And it's kind of it's exploded from there, all organically. I don't do any kind of advertising or marketing. We put stuff on YouTube that or in social media that we enjoy doing. We like sharing stuff, and if we do something stupid, like that always gets good views, so we'll throw that up. I'm not perfect; I still mess stuff up, but yeah, that's kind of how I ended up where I'm at right now.
Well, when I called him to talk to him about this, because he fixed some stuff for us, and then he's come in and done a class for Building the Future before. And when I called him, his voicemail says, yeah, actually, we're really booked, and we don't have time to fix anything else. We're too busy, so leave a message if you want to get on a wait list, or otherwise I'm too busy.
Does it really?
Yeah.
That's the first time I've ever heard any business owner basically say, yeah, I'm not working on your crap unless it's like serious deal. So that's pretty impressive. I mean, most people don't get that saturated with work where they can just voicemail turn people away.
Yeah. Well, it makes me sick because I don't like turning away work. Like I like to be the guy that's so buried that I can't breathe because that's comfortable. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's hard to. I've got a guy that I've hired on. He's been working with me for a year. He's doing awesome. We work together really well, but it's hard to find people that I can trust. Now I'm the dealership, right? Well, I am a dealership. Now it's like I'm afraid to let people in to work on stuff because I don't want things getting messed up, one. And then two, like if I bring someone in who wants to kind of learn on the job, I can't handhold because I can't breathe with everything else I'm doing, you know.
Correct.
So I'm at an interesting place where it's like we're working on what we're going to do next year. Like, do we hire a couple of techs to keep working underneath me and my other guys so we can keep growing the social media side of things and the dealership, or do we just go full blown repairs, because the repairs never stop, where the dealership fluctuates with the market. I learned that the hard way.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how's that doing right now? With everyone's kind of. I feel like the market is really tight on
Yeah, everyone's broke.
leisure. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
Everyone's broke, and we are 100% leisure. So I found my niche for sure, and that's with the boats. And I found that people who have boats have boat money, and that usually works out pretty good. And I very rarely have anybody say no on boat work.
Or you're a guy like me, and it's like, I have a boat, I use it once a year, and now it needs top end work. I'm not buying a new boat,
Yep.
so
Yep.
well, and that's just where you get. I mean, you might jet ski, didn't you?
Yep.
Yeah, and it's like, well, I don't really have a choice. If I don't want to, at that time, I don't even think we had a shop put up yet. It's like, I probably could do this myself, but with what time? And so, yeah, we ended up taking it to him, and it was awesome. I think, is that the first thing you worked on? I mean, we've been bringing stuff to you.
Yeah, I've done your
for a while
4-wheeler,
now.
your jet skis.
I
I think there's some. I can't remember. There's probably something else.
a dirt bike or something. Who knows? But I mean, that was when I first showed up. I was like, this guy's like one decision away from a heart attack. He's running around getting his head cut off.
It is.
But then I saw how much you enjoyed it, and I was like, oh, that's really neat.
well, in some of these shops, you'll hear about them hiring on a kid, and you're going to start oil changes. I've got a whole line of boat motors here. You're going to get real good at changing the grease in the bottom ends.
Yep.
And you leave all the top end stuff to me. Here's what you do, and I'm going to train you how to do that. And then hopefully somewhere in there, you're going to pick up that next thing,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
So yeah, some of the bigger shops that have enough boat motors sitting here, because
Yes.
if that's all you know how to do, you're going to get through that in about 3 days, and
Right.
then I don't have anything else for you because I'm not doing that kind of turnover. But then you're going to learn how to gap spark plugs, and you're going to learn how to, or whatever
Yep.
it is, and down the line. But yeah, to create that, I don't know, that program within your own shop of here's how I'm going to get somebody from changing the grease on the bottom end to being able to
Yep.
to set timing.
Yep.
Well, and what's your number one? Like you talk about repair, but I mean, is there a single or is there a kind of repair that's like you're doing more than everything else? Because like you said, boats, and that was I think that was one of the reasons we found you. Is there's no one else around that will work on anything? Would you say 15 years or older?
Yeah, so all the local dealerships, and this is the great thing about what I'm doing, is that all the dealerships don't touch anything. Most of them, their limit is like 8 years. Some of them will go 10 years.
No kidding.
So I get all of the. I went to all the shops around here and I just handed out my cards. I'm like, hey, instead of having a pissed off customer that you're saying no to, you have an answer for them now. Just send them my way.
We don't, but this guy does.
Yep. So that was good until I'm turning away people this year. But now I've got people that I can send work to. So like for a while, there's people in my community who everyone views everything as a competition. And I just know in the repair world, like there's plenty of work for everybody. So anyway, so some of the guys that were, upset or jealous or whatever they were of our shop, like I call them up and be like, hey, you got openings? Like I've got 3 people I can send you right now that I can't get to, but I want to make sure they're taken care of. So it works out great. So I get all the overflow, and then we've got a big enough name where like now that I can send people to other people that I know in town who kind of do this stuff, and yeah, it works out good.
I mean, how many other people are there competing with you? Because I mean, we used to go to a guy in Cambridge. And I mean, he did a lot of lawnmowers and stuff like that, but he's been done for a while. It just seems like, small engines. And you said this when you came in, did our one of our classes. Just there's almost no one doing it.
Yep.
So what drew you from motorcycles down to small engines, and how'd you figure out that was the place to be?
So I just work on everything. So, and part of me likes it because it's a variety. Like it keeps me going, it keeps me entertained, right? And then I get to learn about new stuff. So I enjoy that aspect of it. With the small engine stuff, like I've just always worked on it, and I can just tell you, like we hit winter and everyone needs snowblower work, and I'll take that on because we can do 30 or 40 snowblower carb rebuilds in a week. And at our shop rate, we're not as cheap as the guy working out of his garage, but if we can make $100, $125 per snowblower, we can knock out 10 of those a day. Now we're talking, like we're really good at getting into winter. So like I said, I guess I just experiment with everything, whether it's the sales side or the repair side. I just take it all in. I figure out what does and doesn't work. I turn away weed eaters now because, like, if someone brings me a weed eater, it's going to take me an hour to work on. You might as well just go buy another one because, you know, we're $125 an hour for our shop rate.
Well, how'd you get to there? Because originally you weren't over 100, were you? When you first started?
Nope. We were at 85 when I first started.
I think I got you at 85 or 90 when I first brought something to you, and I was shocked. I was like, man, I'm getting more.
That's where it is though. You start turning work away.
You just turn it up a little
turn
bit.
that dial up a little
Supply and
bit.
demand, like,
Right.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
do you think 125 is the ceiling, and that's why you're willing to turn work away, or you just don't want to
no.
turn the dial anymore?
So I've got a tier system now. So basically anything that's going to be on the lift that's easy and accessible for me to work on, we're sticking at 125. When people bring in boats and stuff that we're going to be doing outside, it's 150 an hour. Obviously because we're working out either in the sun or the rain. So we do charge for that. And then I can't tell how many trips I got to go in and out grabbing stuff, you know, because we're going all the way outside. But I do think I could charge more. But where we're at, people are already shocked because the prices are high. And a lot of people haven't had some of these vehicles, like if they buy them at the dealership 10 years ago, they bring them in for the first time to actually have any work done to them. They can't get in now. Well, 10 years ago, the prices were a lot different. So when they come in, they're still shocked because I hear all the gossip around town, you know, small town Iowa, about how I'm too expensive for a lot of this stuff. But next thing I know, they're back at the shop because they can't find anybody else who can do it.
Right.
So, like, if you want it done, we can do it.
Well, do you quote a lot of stuff, or is it just straight up?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I have a good idea on quotes and stuff. If people bring me a list of things, I'm like, you're just going to have to bring it in. I'll get you an estimate. Let me find parts. And I try to save people as much money because we have access to factory stuff and aftermarket. So try to find the best deal for people. But at the same time, like, I need to make sure that my profits are good too at the end of the day.
Yeah, some of that aftermarket stuff, man. I've had, so you say weed whacker. I about threw mine out the other day. I've had that thing for 25 years now, old Craftsman. It's been rough. It's like, you know what, it's time. I went out and shopped them, and they're like $300 for a new one. Amazon had a carburetor kit with a plug and a fuel filter and hose lines. It was $18.
Yep.
First pull, that thing fired up. I didn't even hardly have to adjust it. I mean, tweak the mix just a little bit on it. It's like
Right, but you had the
something,
basic skills and basic tools to do it. I mean, think about the average person. I mean, think about like our software guys. I assume Ben owns a weed whacker, but if he does, he wouldn't have the first clue. If it stops starting one day, even though he's never winterized it or anything, like, okay, throw it away, buy another one. That's like 95% of people. So then they come into him and they're like, well, who would pay $125 an hour? Well, I've got that big steel industrial weed whacker. I'd pay that to have it fixed because it's not, you know, that's probably, I don't know, $600
this isn't a
weed whacker.
promoting for Craftsman or anything. I don't know if
Right.
it's worth the darn today or not, but yeah, the lawnmower and that weed whacker, I've had them both for 26 years.
The old stuff runs good.
First pull, and I had to replace the carburetor on the lawnmower a few years ago. So in the morning when you come into your shop, you just have a line of projects sitting there, or do you have what's your day look like?
Well, organization is not my strong. It's not my strong suit. It's not my skill set. We've got a constant flow of everything going on. Like I said, I have dealership stuff, so I have my own vehicles that we're working on, whether it's boats, jet skis, motorcycles, whatever. I kind of write down a rough idea of what we're going to do in the mornings. Usually, kind of sit down, get a game plan together. It never goes to plan because we're trying to fix stuff, and half the time it doesn't go right anyway.
Yep.
But we just knock out as much as we can, as quickly as we can.
You just whiteboard it, or
Yep, pretty much.
so? Here's I want to take that Johnson motor taken care of, and I want to get that lawnmower's got to get out of here
Yes.
today.
Yep.
And then if we got time, I want to work on this, and this.
Yep.
Gotcha.
Is it by first come, first serve? Do you have like a priority list on stuff? Is bigger projects take priority over carburetors, or just quick cleanups?
Yeah, I would say ideally it's based on when the vehicles get there. I do ask everybody when they do drop stuff off because everyone now knows that we're swamped. So I'm like, hey, like, how important is this to get it done? Like, do we need to get it done today? Is it something that you can wait a week on? Like, I got a guy who brought me some motorcycles from Minnesota. They're moving back here. back to Iowa. But he's like, I can't find anybody to work on these things. And he's like, if you can get them done the next 6 months, great. It's like, cool. So, get an estimate done, get the parts ordered, and then if we have downtime, get to knocking it out. Now, I'm getting close to the end of that 6 months, so it's on the lift right now. It's almost done. He wants to pick it up, probably early next month. But yeah, we just kind of schedule and get as much done as quickly as we can. If
It's just you and one other guy?
Yep. Currently, it's where we're at.
I mean, how busy? If you had 5 guys, could you keep them busy?
I think so. I think
Wow.
so. It's just
That's nuts.
That's absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
I've got a buddy that's just getting his toes into this. He actually took over
Dave's stuff.
Yep. Yeah, and he works on smaller stuff, the lawnmowers and all those. And full-time job, so he's still right in there, right? So he's got his full-time job, and then in the evenings, so he'll come in and he'll diagnose, go inside, order part. They'll all be in next day, couple days, and then 2 days later, fix, diagnose the next set that came in, and just so he doesn't very rarely, because almost everything needs a part, otherwise,
right.
So it's very rarely will he diagnose and fix and out the same day, unless it's something stupid, keep a little extra fuel line or a spark plug sitting around, but yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, because you're ordering parts for everything. Most of this stuff, there's not an AutoZone.
Nope. Not typically. You can't. No, there's nothing you can go to Walmart for.
Well, and is it a lot of Amazon? Is that a helpful? Because that's why I buy a lot of small engine stuff, and it seems to be all right. But also, I'm not running it every single day.
Yep.
I mean, where can someone go to get parts for stuff like that? Because I think that's part of the frustration a lot of people run into. Even if they can fix it, they're just, where do I get the parts for it?
Yep. So for us, like I said, we have access to dealer level stuff through another company that we do. I'm not a dealership for like any major brands or anything. They're not quite that big yet. But so we have access to that stuff. I do have a direct line to distributors who have like name brand aftermarket. So we can get that if people needed help getting something, they can call us. I can order it in, they can come pick it up. Otherwise, yeah, online. And like for all the people who've been coming in that I can't help out, if they got a simple problem, I'm like, I'll point them in the direction. Here's what you can try. And I'm like, if you order, like you said, if you got a weed eater, a go-kart or whatever it is, like try $15 Amazon carburetor. If that takes care of it and you don't have to learn how to rebuild it, and you can hook up, the throttle cable fuel line and the 2 bolts that hold it on, like, go for it. But yeah, for sure. Amazon's great. The internet, there's nothing you can't find on the internet. I don't care if you're looking manually through Google, if you're using ChatGPT, all of that stuff. It'll provide you links, pop out stuff, and shop around, because there's really good deals out there and people just don't know it.
And what's your tool set for this? So, like, I think we talked about it a little bit when you came in last time, but, for some of these, I mean, to me, this is a pretty, like, low cost of entry versus like what I did. When I started, we did buildings, and then we immediately got into dirt work, and I did that specifically so I didn't have to compete with 16-year-olds with lawnmowers, and like I didn't want to go mow lawns because anyone can do that. So we got into the heavy equipment, doing all the dirt work. This seems like a more low cost of entry for the actual tools.
Yep.
Where somebody that's willing to use their brain and go learn the skills to do it can get into it at a fairly low cost. So, like, what does that look like? What's that starter tool set or whatever? I'm sure you get into some, specific specialty stuff, but for the most part.
Yeah, you could go to Harbor Freight or even Amazon again. You could hop on there, order a basic like mechanics tool set, and I think you could probably get something for anywhere from $20 to $100. And you just got to start somewhere. And once you start, like, let's say you're just doing push mowers, that's something very basic. You can find them on curbs and learn yourself, just for free, or start taking a customer work and figure it out quickly, get them right for them. But yeah, a very, very cheap basic tool set will get you started. And then how you accumulate to what I have now, obviously you do it for 20 years, like you will accumulate all the tools. But you'll be working, making money. And then when you run into a situation where like, oh, hey, I need this tool, you just order it. And at that point, it doesn't matter because you now know it's going to make you money in the future.
Yep.
It's not like all the people who bring me, let's say, fork seals on motorcycles. There's a couple special tools you got to have for it. Most people don't want to pay the $100 for the one-time use. Well, I paid $100 for that set 15 years ago,
Right.
and it's all good. But and even now, like I have pretty much everything I'll ever need. But now that I do so much all the time, if I run into a situation where it's like, hey, if I got this tool, make it a little quicker next time, I'm buying it, and you'll just slowly accumulate.
Yeah. So where does it look like? Like, so you get all these automotive shops and stuff like that. They've got Snap-on truck rolling up, stuff like that.
Yep.
Are you guys kind of in that same category? Or are you kind of flying under the radar where
Oh
they're
no,
not too worried?
they're all there.
Oh, that's good.
I got my weekly payments. Yeah, I kind of pick and choose there. Again, there are tools with Snap-on that I really enjoy having. There's a lot of their hand tools and their sockets that I really like. They're worth getting. Again, you figure those out. Like the Craftsman set that actually my grandfather gave me, one of those basic Craftsman sets when I was younger, and I still have those in my third toolbox. But there are certain tools that I do like to get from them because they feel better, they work better, or they last longer. And when they break, next Wednesday, Snap-on will be here again. So swap those out, change those out.
So you run a mostly Snap-on box now?
I would say probably 75% of my stuff is Snap-on. The caveat to that is that I wheeled and dealed into most of that. So most of those tools I actually made money by getting because through trades and
marketplace,
or like my second. So I have a main Snap-on box that I have now, which I paid a quarter of the retail price on, and then the second Snap-on box I bought, sold all the tools that I already had out of it, and it paid for the toolbox and everything else that was already in it. So I made money by getting it, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Yep. And that's a skill set that everyone should
Oh,
learn.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
Wheeling and dealing, man, all day,
yeah.
every day.
My dad's always harped me since I was a kid. You make your money when you buy something. It's not when you sell it.
Yep.
It's
Buy
when
it
you
right, man. Always buy it right.
Yeah. So obviously we've heard from you. You're ultra busy. You could use more employees. You're in high demand. You can get all the clients you want. But we don't see a lot of people doing what you're doing. You offer a bigger range than the dealerships or whatever. Why do you think we're not having more people into this? And because it's almost a dying job. We're hearing about everybody going out of business. We don't hear about shops like yours opening up.
Yep. I would just say that nobody's tinkering with stuff anymore. And I don't know if that's the technology with the younger generations. I guess
I think that's a
I think
phenomenal correlation you just brought up. I hadn't considered it like that, but you saying that connects the dots. It's like absolutely.
yeah, and not to say that because there are still a lot of call them the hillbillies that are out there, mudding trucks and doing all that stuff because you want to learn how to fix stuff. Like go out and be hard on things.
Oh yeah.
Because you'll learn very
Figure it
quickly.
out.
We've got a consumer mentality, or
Right, nationwide, yeah.
consumption, where that lawnmower blinks at you wrong. God, I just bought this thing 2 years ago. Well, guess it's time for a new one. TV lasted 5 years. Well, that was a pretty good run.
Well, and I mean, I watched a whole documentary on kind of how credit has come on the scene with, America, and it started with like in-store credit and, at the big box stores or Sears and whatnot, and then got credit cards, and our accessibility to money, we just think about it differently. It's 4 easy payments for a lawnmower. Or Amazon asked me the other day if I wanted to finance like a $20 purchase for 4 payments, and it's like, what are you talking about?
Yes,
But if you think about it, that's how people are doing it. So like our grandparents, I was talking to my grandpa, and he said I think they bought furniture or something from the store, put it on layaway for 9 months, made payments on it as they could afford it until they could afford. Well, if you worked for 9 months to save up for something and get it, you're probably going to want to keep it, take a little better care of it, keep it around, whatever, versus now you've inverted the credit. You buy it now and you take it home now and you get that like, oh, I got it, and you pay for it for 9 months, but that it's a different correlation in the brain. Instead of I'm putting money down towards something I don't have today until I can get it, then you care about it a little more, versus you buy it immediately, you get the satisfaction immediately, and you eat the pain for 9 months, and you forget kind of that's how you got
Yeah,
in
and
the
as
situation.
I'm
you're in.
sitting here thinking, beyond the credit of making it easier, just think about how easy it is to get something new with Amazon. Like, if you need something today, there's plenty of access to Amazon, a store or whatever. You can go get it right away. Or back then, you might only get something like that if you make the trip all the way out to town, and that's a dedicated trip. It's not I need the part. We just drive half hour up the road. Like, you're planning your day, you're planning a week around making that trip. So it's just how much easier life is to just get those
Oh,
things.
and I'm terrible with it. I'm sitting there. I'll order it on Amazon. Be here tomorrow. I'm building out a new tool rack in our shop for all our Milwaukee tools and the holders for the wall, and design this whole thing. Get halfway done, realize, I got more tools than I thought. Order some more. Well, software guy comes in, hey, that'd look good with red lighting under it. Yeah, you're probably right. Sitting here, where can I get some red lighting? Get that coming. It's so easy because it's your credit card's plugged in. You just press a button.
Yep.
So within all that, you had mentioned, people are hard on stuff. Hillbillies still like to tinker. What would you look for, or what would you suggest to a kid coming in, because they're still making kids. They're still coming up, right? The kids are still breaking stuff. What makes what got us all there? What was it? It was you talked about just tearing that go-kart apart. So what is that intrinsic value within a kid that would kind of lead him down? I don't know. Is it that we're not bored enough anymore?
Oh, I mean, no different than we've got one of our employees' kid brothers at the shop because he's too old for daycare, and his parents don't want him sitting on his computer all day, and he's been weed whacking. Well, he turned about a day's worth of weed whacking in about 8 days so far because he's so doggone stubborn. It's like, this is what I did with my little brother. It's starting to get hot, man. It's going to be a tough. If you're going to take 10 days to do it, you're going to be doing what you started with again here pretty quick. So, he's figuring it out, but there's like no imagination. They're not bored enough, I think. I think we live in an entertainment world, and it's like we got to watch TV once a week. Other than that, Mom didn't want to see us inside. If we were inside, we had to like do chores and stuff, so you don't want to be in there.
And you've said there two of the words I was thinking of when you asked this question. Figure it out. That's
right.
That's what I grew up on. I'm sure everybody in here's heard it. You broke something, you figure it out. You couldn't get something to work, you'd figure it out. And then if I couldn't get it figured out, Dad would usually show me how to do it. He'd try to do it, but then he'd take it back apart and he said, figure it out. So at some point, if you wanted that thing, you figure it out.
Well, there's lawnmower, the dirt bike. We had a mini bike, and that just had like a Predator engine on it. So like learning to winterize that, doing that stuff on such a small thing. Oh, it broke. Doing all the little stuff because if I didn't do that or figure it out, I didn't have a dirt bike to ride, and now I just have to stand outside in the hot sun doing nothing.
Now, Josh, do you have kids?
I do. I have 3.
Okay. How old's the oldest?
7.
So we're getting close to. Does he have his own tool set yet?
He has access to all the ones in the garage. He does have some of his own tools. He has owned 4 or 5 of his own units now. I let him accumulate money when we go and get something and make money, and I'll put it away for him. And then if he wants to, I give him a little portion of that to use if he wants to do the video game, or buy whatever.
Sure.
But then we take the rest of that money and reinvest it over again. So he actually has owned a Harley Davidson already with his own money. I saw a deal on it, and I didn't have the money, so I used his. But he enjoys it, and I'm trying to keep pushing him into that stuff because he's got a VR headset that he bought with some of the money, and he's we got a PlayStation that was a partial trade at the shop, one of the deals. But I try to keep them outside, try to keep them doing this kind of stuff. And my daughter, who is 3, she loves coming out working on stuff. The boy, as he gets a little older, he likes to not do everything with Dad at the moment, but I try to keep them interested in that because I know one day it'll click for them. Like, hey, here's a skill set that I can use.
And some kids you can see it in, right? I mean, you'll be talking to somebody, doesn't matter where it is. Some kids have it, and I don't know what it is, but that need to know more.
Why?
The why,
Yep.
right? And I've talked to my guys about it. Just knowing that this is the answer isn't enough. You got to know why. I don't care if it's an engine or electrical device or a tractor. Well, I flip this button, then it does the thing. I flip this button, now it doesn't do the thing. Okay, well, there's something in there. You gotta know the
Well, it's
why.
that problem solving. It's what we're talking about with whether it's, the guy's kid brother at the shop or the guys that work for us. It's like, does this need to be a phone call to me, or could you take 5 minutes of your own time and stop, slow down, step back, and look at what is going on?
Mm-hmm.
And that has been my biggest thing. It drives me nuts because it feels like common sense. Like, step back just a second and look at how that operates, because it's a very clear sequence of whatever it is, and for some reason it's just lost. Or if I do this, then this will happen. That's a very simple thing we learned way back whenever. But we had a guy he chained a semi to bump start it. The starter went out. They needed to bump start it. Great. I'm glad that you knew that you could bump start it. That's awesome. But instead of hooking to the front axle, we hooked to the bumper. Well, the bumper's got 4 bolts holding it on, and that's it. So we run a chain through the bumper, and it's where in our head do we go? We're going to pull on 80,000 pounds with another 80,000 pounds on aluminum. Just, there's not that's where we miss steps, and they're adults. And that's where it's kind of that's the stuff I get annoyed with. But what can we do to help,
Knowing
facilitate that?
what you've gone through to get where you're at,
Mm-hmm.
What would you suggest to somebody? Take your 7-year-old. Now, obviously, you're not going to say, you need to go enroll in the community college, but, where could you start steering a kid, or putting opportunities in front of them, I guess, would be the correct. And maybe it's something as stupid as he really wants to play that video game, and Dad, the PlayStation doesn't work, and, well,
We'll figure it out.
yeah. And you got to want it, right? You know?
Yeah, and if they don't want it, it's kind of hard to push them that way. But if the curiosity's there, you can definitely help feed that to them. And you guys, what we're just talking about, I think for me, I didn't necessarily do great at school, but the things that I figured out, and I can look back and see it now, but figuring out the way that I learn really helped me improve with everything that I've done. Now that I know that, and the way that I learn is, well, it's usually hands-on. But if I can figure out, like you said, the initial why, let's say an engine, we know it needs compression, spark, air, and fuel. Once you have those 4 basic principles figured out, then you can diagnose literally anything else on the engine. You just got to connect the dots on what all components go to what. And I don't care if that's English class, math class, whatever it is. But if you can figure out that basic thing, like you said, now if somebody understands the basic steps or the basic principles, they don't need to call you to ask a question, because it's hey, let's start at the foundation here. Let's figure out what's going on, and then work our way up, and we can diagnose and figure things out. If you can get a kid to be interested, learn that kind of stuff, it's amazing what opportunities that unlocks. And like I said, I don't care.
Right. It's that just basic problem solving. Look at the base of what's here and what is going on, and figure out why. And I, like I said, I just feel like we're, as a society, have either lost it, or we lost the ability to teach that, or something, because it's.
Well, we've hit on it a little bit with the access to Google, your YouTube, and AI. Great tools in helping you solve these things, but instead of problem solving our own first and thinking about it, it's our immediate answer. Whether we're doing it for instant gratification, for efficiency, whatever, great, but we're losing that ability to critically think and solve on our own.
All right. Well, and then AI is only as good as the input you
Yes.
give it, and so that's where the problem solving comes in. I am all for using AI, but you can get a lot of junk out of AI.
You got to be smart enough. Yeah. You ask it about a small, I'm at my wit's end. I'm trying to find, I don't know. Yeah. Valve lash.
Yep.
And then, you pop it open, you go, oh, dang, that's not even close.
Right.
Well, now I've got to go down a whole wormhole, because now I know there's terrible information out there that it just pulled from somewhere. So now I've got to go and find, this is not somebody's opinion about what it needs to be. There is the fact out there, right? And yeah, you have to be smart enough to be able to be a critical thinker.
Yep.
Well, and you can get around some of it by using those tools, but I mean, I was telling him we fixed a semi was having a fueling problem. It was wiring, something in the wiring. So I pulled ChatGPT up, and I have my phone here, and all my tools, and I literally, everything I did, I took a picture, told Chad about it, and I like worked through it like it was a instructor with me there.
Yep.
We got it fixed, and we got it fixed in probably 4 to 6 hours.
But you had a base level knowledge.
But I have a base level knowledge. But even without the base level knowledge, the way I started was like, I'm a complete idiot. This is my issue. Where should I start looking? And then just followed instructions and over.
There wasn't a single time you hit, nope, that's a head bolt. I'm not taking that thing out because you're wrong. I know that's a head bolt. That's not a spark plug.
On that project, I don't know. But that was a lot of wire testing. Test this, test that. This is what I found on the internet. This is what Kenworth says. But we're not.
Because I've had guys shoot me those canned answers from AI. Hey, can I do this? Well, no. And then they'll send me internet says I can. It's like, you butthead. It's like, yeah, that's not even close. Not even close. I mean, it's a pretty good generic answer. And I suppose on something like that, you weren't asking generic questions.
No,
right?
I was being hyper specific, and I had VIN number, and I had everything input prior. I said, This is exactly what I'm working on, the model of the engine.
But to the layman, he can't ask a hyper specific question about, so you had to have that base level knowledge.
So we're on the topic of AI. Do you use AI for anything you do in your line of work or no?
All the time.
You do?
I do, yeah. I do it for, again, my mind doesn't shut off with, I'll be laying in bed, my wife goes to bed, kids are asleep, and I'm like, how can I customize one of our projects? Like, all these things. But yeah, I'll use AI all the time for getting, instead of going in like old boat motors, they're hard to look up. There's not necessarily a database. You can just go type in old serial numbers, but you go to ChatGPT, be like, hey, I think I have a motor between these years. Again, it's not always right. So be wary of that. But it's super simple to go plug in serial numbers into that thing, and then it'll pull me up models. And
it does seem like it's got better search capabilities than the internet.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which we've talked about, and I don't want to get into that on this one because we might get into trouble. But you might not be able to pull, have access to that dealer manual, right? But somebody at some point has put it out into the internet, and now it's out there whether they want it or not.
Well, Google's a search engine that utilizes website. It will only pull up websites that have information in them. ChatGPT takes all information that's ever been put out and regurgitates it back to you,
right?
With the link to the website it found it at. So it's like a backwards version of a Google search, and it does a lot better job. But obviously, it has wrong stuff. But you can create, and I don't know if you do this or not, but you can create basically their parameters for your AI.
Your own little bot.
Yeah, your own little bot that says, okay, only give me information found on certified manufacturer websites, these different blogs.
Yeah, I don't want somebody's opinion off of Reddit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exclude all the, opinions and stuff like that, and it does a pretty good job of getting you the answer. But again, that goes back to the problem solving and you need to know a little bit to be able to create that, product or that vision for the AI to actually go execute.
So knowing what you know now and where your career path has taken you, what would be a suggestion for there's a kid that wants it, he's got the mind for it. What's his first step? He's coming out of high school, just go start tearing bikes apart you see on the side of the road.
I just getting your feet wet in the whole thing. Even through high school, you can do all that stuff during high school. My son, I'm hoping that, if he wants to work on stuff, I'm like, dude, you don't have to have a job your whole, all the way through college, whatever he wants to do. I'm like, if you flip 2 or 3 little push mowers and you can make $500 a week doing that, you can make a pretty good living compared to flipping burgers or working at Walmart, not that those are bad jobs, but the money to time ratio is really good on those things.
Huge on it.
Yeah, you can fix 4 or 5 mowers in an evening, assuming all goes right. Make some good money and sell them, or
So pretty easy to just kind of dip your toes.
Yep.
See if you've got that, because a lot of these kids don't have the mentors. They don't have necessarily a dad that's in the business or a neighbor that likes to wrench. I think a lot of that's lost. If the neighborhood kid wanders down and just kind of, looking in your garage, what's he got going? What's he got going on in there? And so a lot of that's kind of getting lost. But again, if you're curious, so you would suggest kind of tinker.
Go try it. Go try it. Like, and it doesn't, whether it was my other businesses or some of the strategies I do with marketing, like just experiment with everything. Like try everything. That's why we work on everything, you know, like I said, because now I'm finding, you know, I didn't think I'd be a boat guy,
Right.
You know, like
Right,
Brandon and I work on them all the time, but like now everyone, like people see my family in other parts of Iowa and they're like, hey, we saw your son's shop the other day. Like, when did you become a boat dealer? Like, well, I've always had the capability to sell boats as a dealer. I just didn't realize that there was such a big market for it, you know, and I wouldn't have done that hadn't have I just gone and bought a boat randomly to fix up and, you know, try it.
So really what we're indirectly hearing here is everything is just a learning experience. And to treat
100%.
everything as such.
Yep. And then go try it. If you hate it, like, you know, there's a certain boat I don't like, guess what? I ain't come back to the shop, you know? But you don't know until you try it and live and learn. And I've learned a lot of those.
But now within that, I would, from my personal insight, outside, not hindsight, from the outside in. Anyway, go try being a this. But for crying out loud, don't buy $10,000 worth of that Snap-on stuff
No.
to see if you like wrenching on lawnmowers.
Would not recommend it.
Well, and I mean, I was telling Micah the other day, we have everything in our shop pretty much now. I mean, even a lot of specialty stuff. We could do probably almost everything you guys do. Obviously,
But
lacking
you didn't
the
start
skill.
with that.
Right.
You started with that Craftsman wrench wrench set that your
Exactly.
dad had, and it was only a partial set, and
Yeah,
used the
100%.
crescent to fill in the gaps, right? I mean, that's how you start.
And
then all of a sudden it turns out that we do need that pick set, you know, because that stupid O-ring. Well, now we have a pick set, you know, but you don't need to go and buy you start with the Harbor Freight, the Icon
exactly.
stuff.
Well, the tools can grow with the skill set. And if the skill set's growing, the tools pay for themselves.
And
One rule we've always had is if it breaks, you upgrade. If it wears out, you buy it again. So if you're using a ratchet and all of a sudden it spins out on you, well, I'm not buying another. Didn't even have a name brand on the thing. We're gonna upgrade a little bit because I don't want to have that happen. You know, if you've got an end wrench set and they're all rounded out, well, we're probably not buying that set again. You know,
100%.
but if I snapped one in half, that was on me.
right.
And
well,
that was a pretty good tool.
and everything's lifetime warranty now, even from Harbor Freight. Everything, you know, and so, but what I was getting with, you know, we have everything we could do it. We just don't. I mean, we're not going to, as of right now at least, I haven't got the harebrained idea to just start wrenching on boat motors and small engines in our shop, and we have all the capability to do it. So there's plenty of people out there with the capability, or Dad's got his old Snap-on box from when he was a lube tech somewhere, and you know, a lot of people probably have the means to do it, and I've never even thought small engines. I mean, I wouldn't even thought of that. They're pretty simple for the most part. I'm sure you get into some complex stuff, but you know, the guys working on lawnmowers and stuff, $100 an hour is pretty doggone good money for.
But whether it's lawnmowers or
$200
going
worth of
into
tools.
being a motorcycle tech or an automotive tech or whatever, I see a lot of kids that I'm going to be a diesel tech. This is what I'm going to do. And the first step is we enroll in college. We buy $20,000 off that Snap-on truck that just came in, and here we go. You know, so yeah, for some of these kids, and you know, maybe even that diesel tech, go grab a lawnmower. See if you've even like taken the thing apart and putting it back together.
Yeah, if you don't like lawnmowers, you ain't gonna like diesels. I promise.
But yeah, I mean, you know, somebody's told this kid, man, you can make a lot of money being a diesel tech. Oh, that sounds good. I kind of like wrenching on stuff. Do you? Do you?
Do ya? When it's every day.
You know, here, go wrench. Make this thing run.
Well, we had a guy that just, you know, stopped working for us, and he just started working at a mechanic shop over in Ames. And I mean, he had some Snap-on stuff from when he was in college, because they go, oh yeah, 50% off your first $10,000 you spend with us, everything's 50% off, and then you buy obviously $11,000, and the rest is you know. But he has some of that. But the base level Snap-on box is not super high quality. I was kind of, that's a $7,000 box. And Okay, I believe
Seriously?
you. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think the one I have right now is like retails for 17,000.
yeah.
Wow.
I think Jacob's was 10 or 11, but he got it half off.
I
And
got
his,
mine used. I didn't pay that.
but yeah, I mean a $7,000.
You know how hacked off I would be if I bought a $17,000 set and then I was missing a tool, or there was, because like you said, there's those specialty tools, right?
No, Luke, he
So-
spent 7,000 on the box empty.
Oh,
Yeah, just the box. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I thought this was like a box and everything it
No,
entails.
no, no,
Just
that's what I thought too.
No,
yeah, this is
no.
my career in a box.
No,
That's
this
what
is $7,000 for an empty box, and it's not a very good quality box. My Milwaukee box is better quality, and it was
I need to
know,
start
2
selling
grand.
boxes.
Yeah, no.
no,
kidding.
it's a racket. But he gets this new place after working for us, and immediately some of the other techs are kind of on him about not having nice tools because he's got some snap on some stuff for his main wrenches and whatnot, and the rest of it's Icon or whatever. And he's like, man, I'm kind of feeling these guys are getting after me. It's like, dude, I pretty much don't care what you're doing. For the most part, you can get away with a lot. I mean, even Icon from Harbor Freight makes some pretty nice quality
for
stuff.
sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
there's some pretty good videos out there if you want to go down.
Right,
that rabbit
right.
hole
And it's
Of the Snap-on guy getting pretty hacked off in his own truck,
well, but
doing a side by side, and it's like, ooh.
anymore, the quality of stuff all around either is all lower or it's all higher. You know, it used to be like you'd buy a really good set of something and it's like, this is going to last me my lifetime. We have tools we bought 6 years ago, beat the snot out of. I think they're Menards Master Force. Totally fine. The only reason I bought newer stuff is, Milwaukee's wrenches have the teeth on the end of them. We're always working on heavy-duty, rusty stuff. We like those. In a shop that works on a lot of aluminum, you probably wouldn't want them because they'd tear stuff up. Sure. So it totally depends on what you're working on, but those tools that we bought 6 years ago and we've used, there's nothing wrong with them. And so getting into this, I don't care if it's this or diesel mechanics, automotive, some of these kids need to seriously consider, because I bet for 17 grand you could probably buy an entire Icon, like giant box full of tools, completely full of tools.
Yes.
And, you're not touching.
And still need those specialty tools.
Well, but they have specialty, even we've bought a lot of pullers and a lot of different specialty stuff from Harbor Freight because you use it once, every once in a while. But I mean, I can see if you're using it every day, like
I will probably never use that steering wheel puller again, but I've got it.
right. Yeah.
Because I had to pull the steering wheel off that old Mustang. I had to have it off. There was no getting around it, right? And there wasn't another tool that was going to do it.
So
and
you
now
bought
I've got
one.
it.
But I mean,
Ain't going to do me any good on my F-150,
but even your diagnostic tools anymore. I mean, I bought the Icon diagnostic scanner deal, and the amount of data that it pulls gets me in enough trouble to
Right.
be able to do about anything we need to do. And I looked at the Snap-on, but it was $6,000 or something like that, and I
And then you got to
spent
pay the yearly subscription.
Right,
which
and
is
then-
about 100 a year, or whatever it is.
So-
It's a lot.
it's hard to justify. But this to me, what you do is a fairly low cost of entry business if a kid wants
For
to start
sure.
learning it.
Absolutely.
And clearly, it can be a full career with. It sounds like quite a bit of road ahead of you because
Easy. Yeah, for sure.
you're so busy you're turning people down.
Yep.
All right, so it's that time for that time part of the show. Hard hats on for the hard-hitting questions. Gear up, kids. These are fancy. These are nice hats.
They better be for how much I had to
brand
pay
new.
for them.
Brand new. Got the auto adjust on the back. How's it? Ooh, they got a little bit of.
A little spring to 'em.
Yeah, that's not bad. All right, Josh. Question number 1.
Yep.
So, you think it's better to go straight into a trade school, start as an apprentice, or learn on the job, and why?
All right. Based on what I've done, I would say I would probably start with on the job. Go into something, because if you're going to learn on the job, you're just going to make money right off the bat, whether you're good at it or not. And if you hate it, you can get out and
No harm, no foul.
Yep, exactly.
You were paid to be there.
Probably what I would do. Now, for me, I went to motorcycle school. Again, it was after music school, so
Would a dealership pay for you to take that program? Because we were talking like a lot of the HVAC, electrical, those kind of core contractors, they'll pay for their kids to go through apprenticeship programs or schooling or whatever. Is that something in the mechanics world? Not really.
It wasn't, at least in the area that I was in, it wasn't. But I would bet that people would pay for it now because it's getting harder and harder to find people who do the power sports stuff. Like automotive techs, like they're having a hard time finding them, but there's a lot more of them. So I'm sure there are definitely opportunities out there for that. And you don't have to go to the snap-on version of school either.
Right.
Like I said, the community college, there's lots of options in there if that's what you want to do. Definitely worth doing that. But I would definitely get a feel for it before fully.
If you can find somebody, I'll take you on without the school and give it a shot.
Yep. And if that means start sweeping floors in the shop.
Right.
Then you can go to oil changes. There's a lot to be said about somebody who comes in and wants to grind their way up. Like.
Well, and also as an employer, you look at that person with, kind of some more respect. Yeah, you didn't get the position you wanted, but this is what I have. And if they're willing to just kind of stick their nose to the grind wheel and eat it for a while, okay. Then if they do mess something up while they're learning, you got a little more like, well, yeah, but you also, put your nose on the grind wheel to get here. So is what it is. Move on. All right, so can you give us like an idea of the earning potential that somebody could have doing, your career, and like what does that look like? Either, you don't have to get into necessarily 100% your ownership perspective, but like what would a tech make for you versus what they can do kind of by themselves per year if they were, if it was their thing.
Yeah. So I'll just speak from my point of view as a tech. And then kind of moving up because what we're doing at the shop's a little unconventional. But when I worked at the dealership level, I was flat rate. So I got paid by the job.
What the book said.
Yeah, what the book said pretty much. Whether, if I got an hour job and it took me 2 hours, I got paid the hour. But if it took me half hour, that's the jobs you want to, be doing. That way you can multiply your time there. I know techs that when I first got into it, I was probably making $40,000 or $50,000 a year, which was decent for 20-year-old guy who just got in the motorcycle industry.
For sure.
That's not bad. The further I worked into the dealership or the longer I worked there, the higher that went. When I got out of the industry, I guess it was 10, 12 years ago now, I was about the $30 flat rate hour, which is, I was one of the higher paid techs actually in the Dallas area at the time.
And how long had you been doing it for?
I had been doing it for 7 years at that dealership.
So when you say you're a $30 flat rate, so of course if you worked your bare 40, you'd be like $60,000 a year.
Yeah.
What did you end up actually taking home after 5 years doing it? You had the experience. You were probably getting a fair bit done.
I was usually averaging between 45 and 60 hours on a 40-hour week.
On a 40-hour week.
Yeah.
Okay, so you
Work 40, get paid 60.
Yeah. It would fluctuate.
Sure.
Then you get something a job that eats your lunch, like it hurts. But welcome to flat rate.
But I mean, still, that's not terrible. I mean,
No, it's not bad.
Close to $100,000 a year.
Yep. You definitely can do that. And I know guys that make a lot more than that. Just depends on how fast you can work, how good you are. If you got the tools to make the job faster.
After 7 years in the industry and applied science degree out of a community college.
Yeah, that's actually fantastic to be at six figures doing that. And that's a tech working for somebody else. So then what's it look like, doing your own thing? Because I know your rate has gone up from 85 to 125.
Yep.
But obviously you have building expense and all that. So then
For sure, absolutely. But like, let's say I'm working out of my garage, and let's just call it $100 an hour. Would easily be able to turn out anywhere between 5 to 12 hours a day. You know what
Right,
I'm
and this
saying?
is
Like,
all variable based on how
What I
much are
wanna
you
do.
willing to work.
Yeah.
right. Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. So if you're willing to give up your Saturdays,
A lot of money.
you can almost make a full-time living on the weekends.
oh
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, think about that. That's 50.
no, I'm saying if you want to work 6 days a week, 7 days a week,
oh yeah, you could stack it.
16 hours a day. I mean,
Yep.
Well, I mean, you look at his shop rate at let's say $100 an hour, and he was willing to work 10 hours every Saturday. That's 52,000 extra a year, and then that still leaves you 6 days a week jacking around or having another job or whatever.
Yep. It's got to be all planned up to get it all lined up on
Right,
Saturday.
for
sure.
But
Get your
hypothetically,
parts,
absolutely,
parts,
you could.
but
And hope everything goes well.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, if you were, so guy starts working out of his garage. He wants to make it a full-time deal.
Mm-hmm.
He's not willing to give up 7 days a week of his life, but he wants a normal job for it. I think anyone building anything, a normal work week is 60 hours a week. Anyone building anything, whether they're trying to build wealth for a family or build a business or turn their real job and have a side hustle, it all adds up to about 60. I have yet to find somebody that built their multi-million-dollar company on 40 hours a week. I haven't seen it. And I've come off of 5 years of working probably average of 16 or 18, 20 hours a day, depending on what time of year it was.
Yep.
And I'm just now getting to where I can come down to like 12 hours a day. And I like it. I like it that way. I do. But, what does that look like for that tech and what kind of earning potential is there for him?
Yeah. Like I said, if they're still I'll talk about doing it at home on
Yep.
their own deal. Yeah. I mean, like let's say you want to be really busy real quick, charge $50 an hour, and you're not gonna find anywhere that's gonna pay you $50 an hour for most jobs. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Let alone a specialized like with the wrenching thing. But yeah, if you do it just as a side gig, you can make a bunch of money doing it. And if you're good at it, the word will get out and it'll grow fast, and that's what happened to us.
So why have some of the other people around you not exploded in size or work? Like you said, you were sending some work to some other shops and stuff. What if they've been around before you? Because you were kind of the new kid on the block
For
when you
sure.
showed
Yep.
up. Why have you blown up and they're still kind of doing the same thing, or they're even having?
So a lot of these guys, I know a couple of them are like full time out of their house, but when they're doing it out of their house, I don't know if they're purposely keeping it small, but like again, I'm all or nothing. So when I got the shop, it's like signage is going up, vehicles are parked out on the street so people can see it, and then I do social media stuff too on top of it just for fun. But yeah, I just went full throttle and I just don't let up.
Right.
And that's why it keeps. I think it just keeps growing. That and then taking care of people. Like I said, I screw things up. I'll do everything I can to make it right.
100%. I mean, we had some of those engine problems or something with that, and he was on the phone on a Saturday afternoon, and he's
Oh yeah, the jet ski.
trying to figure out all that
Oh,
stuff.
it's always on the water, man.
Yeah, it's like, hey man, those things are having issues, but
Nothing like a 40-year-old two-stroker to just be like, yeah.
yeah, but
Ruin your Saturday.
but he got them tuned up and everything, and niece or nephews ran the balls off those things last summer, and all day long for like 5 days and didn't have anything wrong with them. So
Did something right.
they're working.
But anyway, last question we've got for you today. What advice do you have for a young kid who's unsure about pursuing the trades or really the next path that he's going to take in life?
I'm going to reiterate the point of experimenting. Like, get out there and try stuff, especially when you're young and you've got nothing to worry about, like no overhead, no kids, like all that stuff. Go try stuff. And if that means going and working at a job for 2 years to find out you don't like it, like that's better than, I think, dumping $100,000 into going to school or something like that just to find out you don't like it.
Absolutely.
So go try things. You see online with all the gurus or whatever you want to call them talking about, like follow your passion versus, making money and all that stuff. And you just got to find out what works for you. But if you're not trying things, you're never going to figure it out.
And don't be scared to shift. I had, who the heck even was that? I had somebody come to me about, and they were having some problems in their career. Like, well, I'm too old to start a new career now. It's like, you're 28 years old. What are you talking about? Yeah. It's like, yeah, I went to school, when I went to school with two guys, they were both in their 50s starting their career in HVAC.
Yep.
Dink around. Find it. Some of it works, some of it doesn't, right? Yeah. How old were you when you shifted from music to?
I went to motorcycle school starting when I was it was either 19 or 20.
Okay.
Yep, right around there. And I've been doing music like heavily all through high school because I was all the programs, going to all the weekend stuff, doing all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's that flexibility. The ability to just pivot and try something else to do. Look at what we've done almost every single year that we've been in business. There's been something else that we're like, okay, well, that we could add this to our business or we cut this to our business. We started in buildings and dirt work, and now we're our two biggest things in industrial waste and recycling and software, two totally different ends of the spectrum. But it's just that, yeah, I do that constantly. I'm looking at I can make a change, and I kind of follow the money wherever it goes. And I think
Well, right now, yeah, you've shifted it to boat motors.
Yeah,
of all
doing a lot of
things.
marine stuff. Well, and to that point is like my brother, for example, he's had a couple different jobs and he's been in law enforcement, got out, gone back in, gone back out. Well, in today's age, jumping around with jobs isn't necessarily a bad thing anymore. It used to be like, oh, this guy's had 10 jobs in 5 years, don't hire him. Well, some of these guys, if you're getting in, working hard, don't like it, get out, can still get a good review from your previous employer. Like, I've never left a job and made less at the next one. You know,
Right.
like apply the skill set, learn what you can, bring that to the table at the next one. So, again, take that job, experiment with it.
And if you can explain that, so so if I'm looking at somebody's resume,
Yep.
I absolutely look at that.
Yep.
If he worked, again, I do HVAC. That's my deal. If I see somebody that worked at this HVAC company for 9 months, this one for 6, this one for a year, that's a job hopper.
Yep.
If I see somebody that did general construction for a year and a half, then he did, I don't know,
Plumbing.
yeah. So
yeah.
you know, clearly he was trying things out. He's in this career set, this skill set, that path. That's not a hopper. That's somebody that hasn't found what he's looking for yet. And I'll do the same thing, even if he looks like he's a hopper. Well, I would have left there after 9 months too.
Right.
You're gonna see some of that,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
well, and you
Yeah,
can
what were you
always-
thinking going and joining a hog farm and you're gonna slop? Yeah, I wouldn't have lasted more than 9 months.
Right. Well, and you can. That's the other thing. A lot of these kids, you don't have to put everything on your resume. Hit the highlight reel. If you've got that much stuff going on, get the good ones that you did have a good relationship with. Because
What's this gap in your resume? Oh, I had to sign an NDA. Don't worry about
yeah,
that.
CIA work.
But yeah. Anyway, another thank you to Josh for being here today, for taking the time to share his story, his insights, and his advice for the next generation. Here at Building the Future, we believe exposure creates opportunity. Thank you for tuning in today, and until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep building your future.